So a study tells us that 50% of you who have two-car garages can't get your car in either stall of the garage. And we know who that 50% is, don't we? Can't get your car in because there's too much junk in there. When we look at storage units, because after you filled your garage, you went and rented a storage unit. We look at storage units. There are 54,000 storage units in America. If we put every man, woman, and child in America in a storage unit, we'd have almost enough room for Canada. That's how much storage we have for stuff that we don't need. The average storage unit is about $2,000 a year to rent. The average value of the stuff in the storage unit is $1,800. That's the life we live. The storage units are doing $33 billion a year in rental. $33 billion a year in rental. That's a GDP higher than 95 nations, including Iceland, Jamaica, and Bolivia, just in storage units. Now, why is that? When you ask people why, they kind of come up with the same answer. Oh, it's more work. It's more work to clean it out than it's worth. And as long as I can always afford it, I'll just keep paying it, because who's got the day to spend figuring this stuff out and, worrying about giving it away? I don't really know what to do with it. So as long as the pain isn't greater to keep it than it is to do away with it, well, that's fine. What's that in your leadership life? What are those things in your leadership life that you know you ought to do? What are the things that you know you ought to change, the things you ought to limit, the self-limiting behaviors you're doing? What's that novel you have in the drawer? According to the latest data I read, there's about 40 million unfinished manuscripts in people's drawers. People who want to write a great book, but just didn't finish it. They just didn't have time because they're spending time looking at the stuff in their two-car garage that they can't get their car in. They're hanging out with people that they know aren't making them better as leaders, aren't making them better as parents, aren't making them better as workers, aren't making them better in their life. But it's harder to get rid of them than it is to keep them. So we keep that in our life. What are those things that are holding you back? What's that abundance? What's that good that's limiting you from getting to great? I think you got to figure out what you want.